What kind of music do you like?
I want to be Mr. Olympia one day. I won't let anything stop me from accomplishing this goal. No sport on the earth requires as much time, energy, and commitment. 24 hours a day. There's no days off, there's no missing meals, there's no missing sleep, there's no missing workout. You can't do this at 90% or even 99%.
My father used to be a bodybuilder, and one of the first things he told me when I started getting into weightlifting was, be careful because you're not going to see the same person in the mirror that other people see. That even though I may think I look small or that a body part isn't as defined as I wanted it to be, it didn't necessarily mean that it was true. And as I grew up and got more into fitness and weightlifting, I realized that he was completely right, and I'm grateful that I had somebody in my life to tell me that. But I didn't make this video to flex the good relationship I have with my father. You probably clicked on this video for a reason, whether that be that you enjoyed magazine dreams, enjoyed bodybuilding, or were attracted by the tantalizing word of the day, Gymcel. While the main components of what makes up a Gymcel is an obsession with physical appearance, lack of success with women, and bad social skills. And as much as I enjoyed the movie and rooted for him, Killian Maddox is a Gymcel.
Hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Now, I could probably just make a rage baity video shitting on these people and lecturing you on how Killian Maddox was a horrible loser and that the movie was a knockoff of Joker, and it'd probably be semi-successful. But I won't, because I want something more constructive.
You will never look like me if that's how you're fucking training. Like a little. You wanna look good? You wanna be big? Then you gotta live somebody else's fucking way.
It seems like nowadays you can't scroll male fitness circles without being subjected to someone's political opinions, traumas, or the absolutely unrealistic physiques that get pushed off as natty or obtainable if you take this one supplement that they're getting commissioned off of. I've been vocal in my content about the good and bad of young men getting into fitness, but I think it's time we admit that the culture has gotten extremely toxic, and Killian works as a cautionary tale of where that leads. Much like most of us, Killian wants to push himself physically. He wants the mass, the strength, the aesthetics, the admiration and validation. He wants to be remembered and be recognized for his hard work. I mean, who doesn't? And a lot of gym bros relate to Killian. I saw certain parts of myself in his character, and my male friends that also saw the movie that go to the gym were all like, he's literally me, bro. And then they finished the movie and they were like, I think the gym is a good healing place and reset for a lot of men. It's a place where you can zone out or go with a buddy while also staying healthy and improving yourself. But on the other hand, a lot of men treat it as a crutch or go for the wrong reasons.
Therapy for men. You don't need to go cry. You don't need to go cry in a chair that leads back to.
Going to the gym after a breakup can be a great way to distract yourself and maybe catch up on things that you've been slipping on. That's good. Angrily working out while you constantly think about your ex or fantasizing about her cheating on you, that's not. Thinking your chest is a bit small so you get some creatine and you look up a program to boost them, that's good. Going online and calling people's bodies mid while you save edits of your favorite bodybuilder, yeah, that's not healthy. And unfortunately, when you add social media and algorithms to the mix, the bad gets encouraged more. You stop seeing best tricep exercises and start seeing more stuff like make them all regret or you'll never get your dream physique if you don't take tren. My first video on this channel was actually about this, and at the time I got a fair amount of "why are you hating on self-improvement, soy boy" comments, and now 2 years later we're in the predicament we're in now, so it obviously wasn't just self-improvement going on. The pipeline starts at fitness and then gets tied up with other stuff. Dieting advice turns into conspiracies about sterilization and poisoning. Bodybuilding turns into eugenics and toxic standards, yada yada yada. I've said this before. The bad actors in the fitness media sphere prey on insecure and mentally unstable young men, whether accidentally or on purpose, in order to push agendas or to drag them down to their level. Which is where we get to magazine dreams and how it's an on-screen depiction of an accurate Gymcel. Gymcel isn't some meme or buzzword that I'm just tossing around for views and shock value. Gymcels are byproducts of something much bigger and uglier. At its core, it's used to describe men who turn fitness into identity and identity into isolation. Gymcels are guys who often start at the gym with good intentions, and instead of finding community or growth, they end up marinating in shame, resentment, and delusion. They bully others because they were bullied first by parents, by social media, by people who have said you'll never be enough unless you look like this. But bullying doesn't heal the wound, it just spreads it. These guys often spread their insecurities by calling other strangers small, fat, mid, etc. while secretly wondering why no one loves them back or why society is so cruel.
Don't drink this, okay? It'll make you fat. Nobody would like you.
They become obsessed with ideas of unattainable masculinity standards, and when that doesn't give them the admiration or women they crave, they lash out, not just at themselves, but at women, other men, and the entire world. And the thing that makes this worse for Gymcels is that the algorithm loves this, the rage, the loneliness, the desperate chase for validation. It feeds them content that says you don't need therapy, you need broad shoulders, and she didn't ghost you, she just couldn't handle your underdeveloped lats. They trade in empathy and vulnerability for venom and toxicity, and they think it's masculinity. They fall for the scam that the more shredded you are, the less you have to deal with your emotions, but that's not strength, that's just another mask. And gym culture doesn't have to be like this currently, and it shouldn't be like this. It's a place where people of all kinds can get better physically and mentally, but Gymcels have turned into a battleground where the enemy is often imaginary or tragically themselves. Magazine Dreams got it right. The dream becomes a nightmare when you see your body as the only thing that you have to offer the world. What makes Killian so haunting is how familiar his descent feels. He starts with a dream, a better version of himself, but he ends up trapped in a cycle of self-destruction. While troubled due to his traumatic childhood and roid rage, Killian still puts an effort to be nice and cares for his grandfather. The cracks in his psyche really start to show when he uploads his first bodybuilding demo and gets comments ridiculing him and even telling him to end himself. Nevertheless, he continues on, but over time the weight adds up throughout the movie. He self-sabotages by ruining a date due to his obsession with calories and macros, along with trauma dumping. And although it's a really sad scene, watching it, I'm like, yeah, I've been out at dinner sometimes and I'm like, this salmon probably does have some sugar on the glaze. And of course, in moderation, watching what you eat isn't bad, but when it starts obstructing how you live life and killing the vibe, that's kind of when you have to question if you have some sort of a eating disorder. But once again, I'm not a psychiatrist. Gymcels follow the same path, especially online. They chase an idealized physique, believing it will solve their problems and bring them community, only to find out that no amount of muscle can compensate for their fractured sense of self and isolation. His story is a warning. When your entire identity is tied to your body, you don't just risk injury, you risk losing yourself. The Gymcel's tragedy isn't that he's weak or a virgin or a loser, it's that he's been sold a version of masculinity that confuses suffering for virtue and aggression for power. Killian doesn't just represent a fictional character, he's a reflection of a lot of men who think that the only therapy that they could have is in the weights and not within or through other people. Which is why I really like the ending, so for the last bit of this video I'm going to go into spoilers, so feel free to click off and watch the movie first. The ending of Magazine Dreams is a powerful and emotional ending for the audience and Killian himself, as it represents his ultimate release from the suffocating rage and isolation that consumes him throughout the film. When he breaks down and sobs in his grandfather's arms, who used to be a bodybuilder, he finally allows himself to cry and be vulnerable, which is then followed by scenes of him discarding his guns and steroids. For much of the film, Killian suppresses his pain, channeling it into obsessive bodybuilding and fantasies of revenge. His inability to express his emotions healthily leads to self-destruction, as his anger isolates him further from those who care about him or people that could care about him. By finally discarding the weapons, steroids, and his lust for vengeance, he chooses life over destruction. While the ending doesn't offer a neat resolution, Killian is still obsessed with bodybuilding and being Mr. Olympia, it still shows that the first step towards healing is letting go of rage and insecurities before they consume you. His tears and surrender to his grandfather's embrace signify a willingness to accept help, to be seen as broken rather than invincible. In a society that often glorifies repressed anger, physical superiority, and violent outbursts as sign of strength, especially in men, Magazine Dreams argues that true strength lies in vulnerability and choosing connection over isolation. It's a really powerful conclusion, suggesting that while Killian's journey is far from over, he has at least stepped back from the edge, and that in itself is a victory. If you got this far, thank you for watching. I have some other videos in the works. I just wanted to drop this because I had a similar idea for a video, and then I actually watched Magazine Dreams and I was like, oh, I could tie them together. So sorry if the editing isn't the best, but yeah, thank you, and like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, and see you in the next video.